Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. Another basically. So for this time we have it's a transfer live. We're joined by our transfer expert Corey. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna not going to dwell on what happened on Saturday, but it's clear to see that we are desperate. So, without further ado, I will let Corey take over, and we are predominantly going to look at right backs, as obviously that is position we're most desperate of, that and the striker. But Corey, go on, take it away.
Yeah, thank you very much, mate. So, yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Before we get into it, if you could all please like and subscribe. Me and Mabbsy have put a bit of effort into this. It mainly comes out the my little black book of knowledge that I've got because I'm sad and I don't have anything else to do on my weekend. But what we've done, I've got a list of players, right backs, mainly ones that we've been linked with. A couple that very much, in my opinion, fit the profile and what we should be going for. We will also be touching, like Mabbsy said, on striker, potentially left back and wingers as well. But as David Moyes said in his press conference, Mabbsy, we're not really likely to be spending loads of money, getting loads of players in. So, I mean, I guess it's more out of hope than anything that we want a right back, the right back.
Yeah.
And then if we can, maybe a striker on the cheap. And then if there's anything else we can do from there. Some of this may be a little bit of a look ahead to the summer as well, maybe. But mainly we're going to focus on the right backs. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Sound, let's go.
So the first four we've got here are four right backs, all of which we've been linked with. Probably the ones we've been linked with more than any. At the top, you've got Vanderson, Brazilian right back, plays for Monaco. Doesn't get as many games as he probably would have liked. 24 years old, so he's probably round about hitting his peak now. Now, as you can see, he's only played 8 games. 5 of them he started. So he's very much the second right back there. Quite possibly the reason that we've been linked with him is someone who's probably going to be available. There'll be some availability there. And for 20 million, 24-year-old right back, has played for Brazil. It's not a terrible player to go for. For me, I'd like us to show a little bit more ambition. Now, his defensive actions, 11 per game, on the decent side, especially for the fact that AS Monaco are one of the better teams. It's not a case of the one of the lower table teams. You know, if you're a Burnley or an Everton as well, you're always dealing, aren't you? So you don't really get to flex your defensive muscles. But AS Monaco probably a little bit more offensive than other teams. They do like to press high, probably why his defensive actions are a bit higher, especially his duels, his ball recoveries and things like that. But again, I personally would like us to be a little bit more ambitious. This takes us on to our next one. Juanlu Sanchez, right back for Sevilla. Anyone who wants to see what he looks like, Sevilla will be playing Celta Vigo. I think it's 8 o'clock tonight. So if you don't want to watch that red shower, have an easy time against Barnsley, then do what I do and watch La Liga, Sevilla versus Celta Vigo. So Juanlu is someone that Sevilla are potentially looking to offload. They've struggled the past 2 or 3 seasons, and they want to cash in on some of the younger players they've got. They've got a left back as well who looks decent, but Juanlu at right back is one of the main ones they're looking to get rid of. Now, it's not that he's a bad player. It's not that he's a bad egg. He's just 22 years old. One of the players who's going to get him the most amount of money, and he had a half-decent season last season. But this is where the issue is as well. This is a gamble with Juanlu, and one I don't think Moyes would want us to take. He's 22 years old, still fairly young for the right back. If you look at his games there, he's played a few games, probably played the majority of them for Sevilla, but he's only got 1 assist. He does prefer to get up the pitch. He's more of a playmaking right back, I would personally say, at this moment in time. He's got an okay bit of legs, but he's not overly physical. He's not as best defensively. He's more of a playmaking right back. If you think how James Garner plays, Mabbsy, when he plays on the right-hand side, he's not a wing back. He's not someone who's a full back like Jacob Ryan. He's more of a playmaking right back. So I just don't know if he works into what we want or the profile that we need. But we have been linked with him. 20 million is a little bit cut price, but this season he's been very, very underwhelming. That's not why Sevilla are getting rid of him again, but he has just been a little bit underwhelming this season. I just don't think he's the profile that maybe we're after. Now, the next two...
I guess what with these is that they all seem very young in comparison. And it's kind of like, is it out the frying pan into the fire sometimes?
Yeah, that's it. It's I think in terms of right backs, I think they probably start to hit their peak around about 24, 25 years old, especially in the modern game. Back in the day, maybe like 27, 26, 27, because it'd be more defensive. You think you Gary Neville's more limited, need a bit more experience. But I think most right backs now, or left backs, full backs in general, probably hit their peak around about 24, 25 years old, a year or two earlier, because it's a more physical game. You need the pace, you need to get up and down the pitch, and they're meant to be more attacking as well, or most of them are. So that's why I think you go younger and younger as things go. I mean, taking the chance on Ryan Elobiosu, who is a right back for Blackburn, Nigeria as well. So he made his debut in the AFCON for Nigeria I think it was their final group game. Now he's had a really, really good season this season for Blackburn. He's got pace. He's willing to get up the pitch. He will put the hard yards in. He will put legs in, and he's very good at attacking the box as well. So he will go out wide, but he plays quite direct. And one of the better things about him as well is, look, you're playing in the Championship. Usually, you have to be quite a physical player. So obviously, that stepping stone for the Premier League, and he is. I think he's like 6'2", so it's not as if he's tiny. He can defend the back post. I think he's very much an all-rounded right back as Ryan Elobiosu. But again, the potential concern there is he's 24 years old and he's in the Championship. So he's probably hitting the peak of his powers now. When you go from the Championship to the Premier League, you need to have that other gear, don't you? You need to be able to take it up that other level. So that's where the concern is there.
What's the def actions? What?
Defensive action. So it's a mix. So you've got clearances, you've got tackles, blocks, ball recoveries, anything that constitutes a defensive action. That's what the defensive action means, and it's per game as well. So the reason I've done that instead of all breaking down all the stats is a case of we want someone who's a little bit of an all-rounder. We want someone who's going to be a bit more attacking, let's be honest, because we've got Jake O'Brien who can do the defensive one if we want to go down that route. So I think just having someone who is willing to do the defensive work, someone who's able to do it, that's an added bonus because David Moyes is going to want that. But the most important thing is he an all-round? Is he a well-rounded right back? They need to be physical. They need to be positive, but they also need to be able to at least do that defensive side of things. And again, like I said, Ryan Elobiosu is very much an all-rounded right back. I think he's very, very good from what I've seen of him this season. But again, the question is, can he take it up another gear? He's already hitting that. His peak years. Has he got that extra year in him? Or has he got the extra gear to go up to come into the Premier League and take it further? Now, what I would say...
7 million's a sniff, though, in it as well.
Yeah, and look, Moyes loves a Championship player, doesn't he? He loves, like, in his first stint, he loved bringing a Championship player through and making him a star. So, and he could certainly do that with Elobiosu. So, look, I wouldn't count it out, especially for the price. Look, 7 million. And to be honest, you may be able to get him for a little bit less than that. So, certainly an option for us. I personally, and we'll get on to that a little bit later, I've got my eyes, my sights set on bigger targets. I want us, because we've sorted out the goalkeeper position. Centre-back, we're okay. We need a left-back. We need a right-back. Midfield, I'm quite content with what we've got. Wingers in Njai. We probably need another winger in the summer as well. And strikers, we probably need more depth and training. But there's 3 positions for me where we need like a world-class player. We need to break up. We need to break the bank for 3 positions: right back, left back in the summer, and winger in the summer as well. That's what I personally think we need to do. Starting off with right back in this window. So we will move on to them, the more higher profile right backs. But for now, this is what we're working with. These are mainly the players that we've been linked with more than anything. And next on that list is Emil Holm, Swedish international, plays for Bologna. Rumours are apparently coming out today is that we have offered money plus Nathan Patterson for Emil Holm. 15 million is what's been touted for him, 25 years old. Now, he's only played 9 games a season. He had a little bit of an injury earlier on in the season. But if you look at his assists there, there's such a few amount of games, he's got 4 assists. Yeah. He's another one who is overlapping. He's always on the move. He's got some strength to him. He's even taller than Alebeyosu at 6'3", and he's willing to get stuck in. But most importantly is, like I said, it's the fact that he's mobile. It's the fact that he is willing to overlap. He is willing to overlap the winger. What he will also do is make his way into the box. If there's a flick on the ball, he'll use his pace, he'll use his mobility to go through, and he'll try and get the ball in the box that way as well if need be. I actually believe. Now, I've not watched too much Bologna this season. My team's going to watch in Serie A are Como, AS Roma, and a little bit of Atalanta Napoli. But on the limited times that I've watched Bologna this season, I'm pretty sure I've seen him assist 1 or 2, and neither of them are crosses. So again, he's willing to mix it up. He's willing to do that kind of playmaker action. He's very much a well-rounded right back. £15 million for the prices, for me, it's a decent price. But again, if we're buying a right back for the future, the one that we're buying, want to break the bank on, it's got to be someone who we think is not just going to fit in the team and improve them a little bit now. They're going to improve us into this next season when we're fighting for Europe. They've got to be a player that's going to be exceptional for Europe. And I don't doubt that over 18 months, Moyes can probably coach that into him. But again, is he?
We haven't got time. We need someone to hit the ground running, Corey.
Exactly. But I think Emile Holm. I think he would hit the ground running. I think he's well adjusted to be able to play in the Premier League. But it's more a case of he can hit the ground running and do well and improve us, definitely. But after this season, when we go into next season, is he going to be able to take that step further? And then the season after that, is he going to be able to take that step further? And that's where we've maybe got to think, is it just worth breaking the bank and putting all the money in? Yeah. Daniel Barton, I think he's got 2, maybe 3 goals this season in a very, very short amount of time, but that includes cup games as well. So that's why I've not included it there. So now next one is a couple more. So Brooke Norton Cuffy and Zakaria El Khouadi, both players we've been linked with as well. Now Brooke Norton Cuffy, 21 years old, former graduate of the Arsenal Academy. So you know the lad can play. Not many players graduate from the Arsenal Academy. I think he only let him go when he was 19, I think it was. So look, if you've made it into the Arsenal Academy, staying at 19, you've got to be a decent footballer.
Who's he playing for now?
He's playing for Genoa. Okay. Again, in the Serie A. Now, the lad's got pace. Very much, he's got pace. He's very much attacking. He's very much what you consider a wing back. But defensively is where he kind of lags. Now, you would expect with playing in the Serie A, where they like to be a bit more defensive, he'd have much higher defensive actions. But again, he is a wing back. He's one who's really going to want to push up quite high. He's very much what I would have wanted Asnu to have been this season. Obviously, further along. But whereas we've had Asnu not playing a game, we would have liked him to come on late on or when we've needed to attack, as basically the yin to Mikalenko's defensive yang. And I think that's the kind of player that Brooke Norton Cuffy would be. It's not one that I don't think Moyes would go for. Again, because of the profile, he wants someone who's going to be more well-rounded, someone who's going to be much more responsible defensively. But again, it's a case of, are we thinking for David Moyes in the next 18 months, or are we thinking going further? Because again, Brooke Norton Cuffy is the kind of player who probably will get better and better and better. Will be the kind of right back who probably in a couple of years, people will be thinking, about 2-3 years, will thinking, this guy's in with a shout of playing for England. Probably get 1 or 2 caps and that's it if he never progresses. That's the kind of level that he could move on to because he has got that ability. But again, he's a wing back. He's very much, if you play a back 5 and you play a wing back like that, it's very much that kind of full back, that kind of wing back as well. But he's English. Like I said, he's come from the Arsenal Academy. Moyes will like that. He will know the league. He'll know the physicality to some extent. Yeah, look, he left at a young age. I think he left when he was 19 or just turned 20. But he will still have a feel for the physicality of the English game.
That's kind of what does bring on to with all these. You know, we do need someone again to the ground running, so you do need knowledge of the game. Yeah, I mean, so it's very well these European leagues, but there's the complete difference to the Premier League.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think one of the issues is when you sign players, especially from Serie A, because look, when I was a kid, Serie A was the league. You know what I mean? It was elite. You'll know yourself, Mabbsy, won't you? It's Italian football on Channel 4. Well, it wasn't just the presenter that we watched it for. It was good. It was good togger as well. But nowadays, it's you've got nowhere near as much money. It's a lot slower, and that's why a lot of the time physical players like Lukaku, Scott McTominay will excel a lot more because they've got the energy, they've got a little bit more that he can put in, a bit more physicality. So I do think the issue is probably focusing on Serie A. Again, I do think Holm and I do think Norton Cuffy will both be able to come in and improve that right back position, definitely. And I think Cuffy's got the scope to improve a lot more than Holm does. But I just think, like you said there, you need to set your sights higher. We need to be able to be going that play that's going to take us level after level after level. Brook Norcuff is probably more that guy, but again, is he really going to fit the profile that what David Moyes wants? Danny Barton's asking if it's Iron Brew or Lucozade. Just so you know, mate, it's Iron Brew. Iron Brew, lad. It's the neck there. I've got the shop by mine does the 1911 recipe, the proper sugary one. So
made real girders.
Proper lad, proper real gator stuff. So yeah, that's why I'm as fat as I am. Pure sugar Iron Brew boys. So I mean, look, one of the things we have to consider as well, Mabs, is Roy Nixon said that here we've got different views on the recruitment between the manager and the recruitment team. Moyes wants something that's a bit more immediate, and I think the recruitment team are trying to go with we buy players that are fairly unknown. And we build them up. We've said it for ages. When we bought Amadou Onana, and we said that sound brilliant. We spent 30 odd million for him. We've got a profit on him, but we want to buy Onana before he goes to Lille, and they're the kind of players that we've really got to be looking at. But I think Moyes wants something a bit more immediate, and he wants players who are Premier League ready.
I don't disagree with Moyes because we're desperate. Again, we've done this whole project thing. We have done it time after time after time, and has it worked? No, it hasn't. And that's the issue. We need someone now. We can't have someone. Oh, it'll be okay for next season. Well, you know what I'm saying. Moyes exactly. Is right. Moyes is absolutely spot on that.
I completely agree. I think, or at least there's nuance to it in that certain positions you go out and you buy that XL. When we're so short stacked as we are in that position, you want to go out and you want to buy someone who's ready-made, is still going to improve, but is ready-made to go with you 1, 2, 3 steps higher than where you are.
And slots in straight away.
Exactly, yeah. I think there are, once you've got them players, so for example, we've got Jack Grealish and we've got Njai now. If hypothetically Dibbling comes good and we've got Njai and Dibbling next season, well, what you do is you don't need to buy a world-class starting winger potentially. You can buy someone who maybe needs another year to settle in, and then you can start buying like that. Same with centre-backs. We could buy someone in the next year who we think, well, I'll tell you what, Branthwaite's going to go in a year or two. We'll sell him for big money, and then we've got a centre-back ready-made here who's just going to slot into the Branthwaite position. So there's a nuance to that, but what we need now, we need a first-team player. We need someone who's going to come in and is going to bring the level of players around him up.
Yeah.
Like we've done with Jack Grealish, like we've done with Iliman Jai is different because he was fairly, I wouldn't say completely unknown, but he wasn't as sought after. But that's what we potentially need to do, is buy the big players right now, i.e. right back, and then we can start going from there. Asnu is a perfect example. We've got someone who's not yet ready, but we brought him in advance when it's a little bit cheaper. So it's the nuance to it, isn't it?
Of course it is. It's a gamble, whatever you do. But I think now he's trying to turn the results around and get back to some sort of normality, whatever normal is, and push on, because at the end of the day, we haven't got this time. Europe's slipping away again this year, so we need to be pushing on, and we need to be bringing in that box ready Premier League player, in my opinion.
100%. We need someone with the physicality, with the technique, someone who's going to push us forward. I mean, if we're to talk about the profile of an Everton right back, stop me if I'm wrong here, mate, but we want someone who's mobile, someone who gets up and down, someone who shows hard work, determination. They don't need to be ridiculously skillful in a tackle, but they need to be positive, going forward, aggressive, and be able to defend as well. We want someone who's fairly well-rounded.
An all-rounder.
Yeah. We don't want to send Alexander-Arnold, who's brilliant on the ball, but he's got absolutely no defensive ability. We don't want a Wan-Bissaka who's good on a 1v1, but can't do anything with the football. We're not asking for the elite. We're just after someone who is very well-rounded and can pass a ball, but can defend.
Totally.
That's it. So moving on, mates. Next, we've got Zakaria El Khouadi, who is currently at the AFCON with Morocco. Now, he plays for Genk in Belgium, and I personally think the Belgian league is one of the best leagues. They're very much what the Dutch league were about 4 or 5 years ago, and they still plays in the Dutch league, but the Belgian league are an untapped or somewhat untapped goldmine for players who are coming in from Africa and South America, and they want to play in Europe. And these Belgian teams, they say to them, look, you come with us, we can play in Europe, because it's obviously the level's easier to get into the European football there, and then we are the shop window. Brighton are the best at this. Brighton gets so many of their players from Belgium now. They're benefited by their owner, Tony Bloom. He also owns USG, which is a Belgian team as well. So he's got a massive scouting network, massive bit of knowledge in Belgium. But it's one thing that we very, very rarely touch. We bought wonder kids from there. We bought Fellaini, Lukaku's Belgian, but we got him from Chelsea. So it's the Belgian league is certainly something that we can use. There's untapped potential there, and Zakaria El Khouadi is one of them. Now, 24 years old, again coming into his prime. £12 million, which again is a good price for a player who I do think would improve us. He's another one who's a bit more attacking. Now, 9.3 defensive actions per game, probably helped by the fact that Genk are one of the more dominant teams in the Belgian Pro League. He's got 1 assist, but what he's actually got, I think he's got 4 or 5, maybe even has six goals this season in the league from right back.
Yeah,
so he's very
impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, he will go out wide, and he will support the winger and cutting in. But let's say for someone like Iliman Ndiaye, well, he's right-footed, and if he plays on the right and he's wanting to turn his man out on the right-hand side, well, El Khouadi will run through the middle, he'll underlap him, and he'll provide that option, which will still allow Ndiaye to either go around the outside or go around the inside. And I think that's something that maybe it's the same move that we see Michalenko do. Difference is Michalenko doesn't run into space at all, he just runs forward. Doesn't get used because he's not trusted. But I think El Khouadi is a player who has got that attacking ability. The difference is, though, is the physicality and the level from the Belgian league, especially for him as a player. Again, it's a case of, can he step up that extra level like Alebi Osun, and would it work in the Premier League? He does look very good, but again, is he of the level that we need? Now, that'll bring me on to the next couple of players. Okay, we've got 6 more at right back.
Got a right treat then, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a few more, lads. Sorry about this.
No, it's fine.
You can't watch Cuddy just yet. So next up, we've got Andre Rashu. Now, I was banging the drum for us to put a bid in for him in the summer. We desperately needed the right back. Probably could have got him for about 20. I think he had a £25 million release clause. So Rayo Vallecano, he's in his Romania shirt there, but Rayo Vallecano are playing La Liga and are massively, massively overperforming. They were going to lose. They were willing to lose him for 25 million. They were expecting that to come in. Bayer Leverkusen were interested. Spurs were interested. In the end, he ended up signing a new deal with them. This was around about November, December time. They've offered him a lot more money. That's reflected in the price for him there. That may even go up to 35 million. So this isn't one where I think it's realistic, to be honest. But
yeah,
I've put him in just to highlight the fact that this guy, in my mind, has the potential to be an elite level right back. Now, I know he's 27, but the lad's rapid. He's got great pace. He is brilliant on the outside. He can dribble, but he's also aggressive. He might not be the strongest, but the lad is aggressive. He's determined. Him for me is probably the perfect Everton profile right back. He's got the snapping at your heels, aggressiveness that a young Coleman used to have, but he's got the pace. He's got the positive mindset. So I just wanted to put him in there, say that that's the kind of profile we should be going for. Only 1 assist this season, but his all-round play, the way he brings the ball up, his balls into the box, and again, defensive actions. He's a workhorse. The lad really likes to get stuck in, and I really like Andre Ayew. He was someone I would have loved us to get in the summer, but unfortunately, we didn't.
Typical.
You know what I mean? The offers we went for Kenny Tete on a free, and that was it. When we probably needed a right back more than we needed Tyler Dibble. Well, we did.
Yeah,
yeah,
totally agree.
You know what I mean? So the
I'm just sniffing around them for all the window, weren't we? Really, and then we got them last minute.
That's it, mate. So where me spoons, mate. The only reason I find these is just because I watch a lot of football. I just have no life. Me missus works away half the time, so I tend to just sit there and put whatever football's on the TV. So I have no life and I have no friends. You guys are my friends. So next one, Dodo, not the extinct bird. There we go. Brazilian right back.
That one.
Dodo is a very good player. 27 years old, in his prime. He'll be desperate to leave in my mind. Now, Fiorentina are absolutely poor. I don't know if anyone's watched any Serie A this season, but Fiorentina are the bottom of Serie A. I don't even think they've won a game this season. They are so bad. And it's quite sad what's happening to him, like a massive team. I look at that kit and I just think Gabriel Batistuta. You know what I mean? And now they're pretty much going to be guaranteed to be playing in Serie B. Sorry, Daniel, I didn't even see that message, unfortunately. But I'll pay you commission on the joke. Thank you very much. So Dodo has played all of Fiorentina's games this season. Defensive action's pretty low. Assists only 1. It's not the greatest looking for a right back. However, when you watch him and you watch someone who again can come in, can do the ready-made job, I do think with a better team around him, he would go up that level because he's got the ability. I thought at some point about 2-3 seasons ago he was going to be the main Brazilian right back because he just looked very, very good. But Fiorentina have really struggled. Would they try to offload him now? I wouldn't be surprised. 15 million for a player with his experience, with his ability, I would take. Again, he is fairly well rounded, but probably a little bit more attacking than defensive. Good on the ball, decent bit of tenacity, and again, 15 million is not to be sniffed at. Apparently, Inter are looking at him as a replacement for oh my god, what's his name? The right back plays for Inter. Yeah, it's just gone blank. Help me here, Mabbsy lad. Help me.
I haven't got a clue.
The right back we were linked with. Oh my days, Denzel Dumfries.
Oh, Dumfries, yeah.
You know what? Because his name's Dumfries. I was thinking of Dumbarton, which is I was thinking of another place in Scotland. My head was pickled. I almost called him Denzel Dundee.
Right, should we just see some of the comments while you get your composure back? That's fine. Ben White is making the rounds lately. Guess it depends on how much money we have, and yeah, that's the crux. If we have money at all, you know what though, I'm sick of this FFP getting banded everywhere now. How are we still on this FFP bullshit?
Absolutely blanks my head.
We just moved into a brand new stadium. We're signing deals left, right, and centre. We're getting all sorts of events. You know, brand new stadium, and it baffles me. It baffles me to see it. I don't know. It's just mad how we're even considering FFP at the moment. Dan says, Corey, you should be working for Everton. The amount of detail discounting it, absolutely. We've got another page to go, right back. So yeah.
Yeah.
the thing is, everyone knows they're desperate for a right back, and they've got as bad a bollocks before we can ever bid. And that's what they said in January. That is the main problem. You don't get value for money. No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I'd say we need. Oh, I'm sorry.
So Jess, I do think we need more quality up front. The issue is with quality up front, we'd have to get rid of Beto before we bring anyone in. And the issue is trying to get rid of Beto in this window as well. And again, yeah, like you said, two strikers potentially needed if we get rid of Beto as well. And it's a case of the profile that we need. I think if we have a striker, and we'll get to this fairly shortly, but you need the right profile striker. We will get to that very, very soon.
So it was just come back onto that comment, Corey. That was my mistake, putting the wrong comment back up.
No, that's all right, mate.
So obviously we're going on to that.
Yeah, so desperate for the right back, yeah. But the thing is, if you know you're desperate for it, now there's players out there so let's say you've got Zakaria El Khwadi, 12 million he's potentially touted for. You pay an extra 5 million on that and get him for 17 million. Well, that's 17 million. Having that player in will probably gain us an extra. If that gets us an extra 2-3 positions and gets us into Europe, he's already paid for himself. You know what I mean? And if you do that, so that extra bit of money that you pay for, I feel like even though you're paying the extra, you're paying the premium in January, sometimes it's just worth it, unless you're getting completely bent over. But there's players there who know that that's what their value is. So you just work within that. There's deals to be made in January. And I think it's, for me personally, it's probably a little bit of a cop-out. I am very, very patient with the board, very, very patient with the transfer strategy. I'm sympathetic to the fact that they only started their jobs after the transfer window opened in the summer. So they've had to get a full recruitment team in and then for them to do their jobs with a massive turnaround, basically new manager, basically a full new team. So I just think that I just feel like, but on this occasion, with us needing the right back, it's so desperate. It's so glaringly obvious. Sometimes a leak is that big that no matter how much someone's charging you to stick it over, you've just got to pay to stick it over because you don't want. The season's already leaking out to a whimper. We don't want that to happen completely. We want to keep some positivity, some momentum, at least going forward into the summer. And that's what we need to do. And that's what essentially is going to bring me on to our third and final focus.
I'll just put this on. Basically, we need a 25-year James Coleman and someone for 60 grand. Brilliant.
Yeah. Well, in modern day football, that's how much is 60 grand now? You're probably paying about 2 million for him.
Yeah, exactly.
So this brings me on to my last four. Now, for me personally, especially the bottom three, they're the three who I think are the most attractive options in terms of the right back position. I'll start with Oscar Mingueza first. Mentioned Sevilla playing tonight. If you want to take a look at Juan Luis Sanchez, well, they're playing Celta Vigo, so Oscar Mingueza should hopefully be playing in that game tonight. Linked with going away for 10 million. I think his contract's up in the summer. Hence why his value is as low as it is. So that is someone who you will get for a bit of a steal. He can also, although he is more of a right back, he's quite versatile. He's played right midfield. I think I've seen him play centre back as well. So he is quite versatile. Shows that he's got some defensive responsibility about him. And it shows that he can be physical and he can be quite progressive and quite attacking as well. 26 years old, so coming into his prime. Yeah, there's not much else to say about that, mate. I think he's a decent player. I'd be happy if we got Mingueza, especially for the price that's touted, because you're probably getting him for probably almost half of what he's actually worth. So that's someone I would take as a good deal. But the bottom three are the ones that I think are the perfect options for Everton. We'll start with Milan Van Evic. Can't pronounce his name. I have been practicing that for the past 2-3 days as well, and every time I get it wrong. So I do apologise to any Dutch listeners out there. Jess already says you can't see Coventry letting him go, and I can understand that. This is where the premium comes in. Now, he was apparently linked with being about £10 million, which I think is way too low. I think you probably in the summer you'd be closer to 12, 15 million. In this transfer window, you're probably potentially looking at close to £20 million to get him. But again,
difference
20
then.
million, 20 million for the right back who's going to be your starting right back for 5-6 years. I've got absolutely no issues with that if he makes the grade. You know what I mean? So I mean, we paid what, nearly 20 million for Mikalenko.
Very true. Yeah.
So why would you not pay that for a player who's proven himself in the English game the past 2-3 seasons? He's been very, very good. 24 games this season, which means he's got the fitness. He's not been injured. Obviously, Coventry been exceptional this season. Very, very attacking. Part of that is down to him. 6 assists. He's got a lot of pace. He will always run out wide. He's got the physicality to throw the shoulder in. And again, defensive actions 10.2. And again, every time I watch him and I watch him attack, I think he's a lot shorter than he is because he's got that low centre of gravity despite his size. But I think again he's about 6'1", 6'2" maybe. Yeah. So he's a big lad. He's decent defensively in the air. He's tenacious. Players don't get past him, and he's got the pace that if someone does turn him, he's got the pace he's got that recovery pace to help as well. So I think he would be an exceptional option.
6 assists as well, yeah.
6 assists, mate. You know what I mean? Obviously, Coventry have been running away with it until recently. They were ridiculous at the start of the season. He's been a big part of that. Maybe he's been helped out by players, but he was very, very solid last season as well. Very solid the season before that, and every season he's getting better and better. And again, it says 12 million there is around about what he's been linked with previously. But again, in the winter, January, you're potentially paying 20 million for him.
Yeah.
So, but it's something I would certainly go for. And the thing is, what we forget is Frank Lampard, like Nathan Patterson, he's the one who gave him more chance than anyone else. So there's always the opportunity if you go, listen, we've got Patterson here, we'll give you him. So you've got someone at right back.
Yeah.
Whether they take it or not is a different thing. You know what I mean? We can even just offer them the 20 million and Patterson on loan. So they've got that stability. Coventry would fight to keep him, but I think a bid of around about 20 million would be enough to secure.
I think with regards, Coventry will probably try and fight, but we've got the sway of Everton joining the Premier League. I don't think that they don't have the power, and that's not me being arrogant or cocky. I just think they would. They in comparison.
Yeah, no, and that's it, mate. It's all part and parcel of the football pyramid. You know what I mean? We bemoan teams bigger than us having a lot of power, and it is, but it also works both ways. And while I don't agree with it, I think we need to take advantage of it because everyone else is going to, and we just need
exactly.
We need to play the game. You know what I mean? So now that brings me on to my next two. Now these two right backs, in my mind, are or will be elite level right backs. These will be Champions League right back players. Will be playing in Champions League finals, semi-finals, quarterfinals. They are that good. First one, Omar El Halali, Moroccan right back, plays for Espanyol. 22 years old, and he plays well above his years. Defensively, very, very good. I actually think that's where he's better. I think he's better defensively than he is going forward, but he's still good. I mean, his ability on the ball, he can pass it. He's got a decent playmaking action about him. He can play the ball inside. He's got a very good cross on him. He's got physicality. He's over 6 foot, but it's not as if he's massive. But the lad's strong. The lad's got a lot of strength to him. Very, very good defensively. Again, low sense of gravity. He will bully people off the ball. Played against Barcelona the other day. Had a very, very good game against Barcelona. We know how good they are. I can't remember if it was Fermin Lopez or it was Rafinha he was coming up against, but he handles them really, really well. He's a very, very good right back, Omar El Halali. He is, in my mind, the definition of a well-rounded right back. If I was going to go for anyone, that's who I'd be going for. I said these last...
You've already answered my question right at the end. That was what I was going to
ask. So look, I mean, Omar El Halali is the one I'd go for. 22 years old, 25 million, which in my mind, for the level that he's going to be, is a steal. It's an absolute steal. He'll be going for 30, 40, 50 million potentially in a couple of years. In fact, no 30 million, he'll be going for 40, 50, 60 million in a couple of years. That's how good I believe Omar El Halali is very, very, very good. Geradoue, now you might recognise the surname, Doué. The lad who plays for PSG. Played in the final, absolutely rapid. He's 19, 20 years old. Geradoue is his older brother, whereas Desiree Doué plays for France. Geller is from the Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire, and he is very, very good as well. Now, he's got pace. Geradoue is rapid. He's not lightning Anthony Gordon quick, but the lad is quick. The lad has got pace. He can go out wide. Again, he can go inside. 3 assists from 12 games. I think he's got 2 goals this season. Defensive actions, 14.1 per game.
That's big. Like, that's massive in comparison to all the others that you've mentioned.
Exactly. The lad is constantly involved. He plays really high up. He's a fullback, but Strasbourg play 5 at the back sometimes, or 3 at the back, play wing backs basically, and he switches seamlessly from that to right back, and sometimes he will do the inverted role. Although his mould, his profile is very much the right wing back on the outside, he is very much got the ability to go. He's got the technical ability to do it. The concern here is he's part of Blueco, which is the company that the multi-club model that owns Chelsea. Strasbourg are very much a supply line for Chelsea. Andre Santos, who's a fantastic central midfielder, went there in the summer. Manuel Omega, who was my second choice for striker in the summer, after Voltemada and before Tieno Barry. He's been confirmed to be joining Chelsea, I think, at the end of the season. Obviously, the Strasbourg manager, Liam Rosenier, has now been announced as the new Chelsea manager. So there's that pipeline, and Chelsea could decide if they want him. They've got him. But then again, they've got Reece James there, who they love. He's club captain. He's not going to get that first team slot. Malin Gusto is the second string, so it's a case of, would Geradoue want to go be second string on the Chelsea bench? Obviously, they play European football, so we get a couple of games, or does he want to be a starting man? Now, you see him in the Strasbourg team. It's a very young team, so wouldn't say he's one of the oldest players, but he's got a lot of experience compared to his contemporaries at the club. So he's somewhat, even at 23 years old, he's somewhat of a leader, which is great for someone of his age, of his profile, in his position. We said the other day that on the post match for Sunderland that we're missing. We've got a few leaders. We've got a few players who are. What we're missing is players who aren't leaders but don't need a leader. You know, players that will fit into the team. They're professional enough to not need someone to constantly coach them. They may not be leaders. We need them to start. We want as many leaders as possible, but you want them players as well. And I think Geradoue would come in as that, and he would slowly become a leader if he was to stay with the club. But again, he's got the ability to go on and he'll be playing in Champions League finals in a couple of years as well. He's got the ability to do that. And the fact that he's available for 25 million, because Strasbourg don't stand in the way of players. If you look at Habib Diarra, who was a central midfielder for Strasbourg and for Senegal, he went to Sunderland in the summer, and it was a massive coup for them. Unfortunately, got injured fairly early into the season, and then went to AFCON, so we've not seen much of him. But he's an exceptional central midfielder. He is very much a box-to-box / number 10. He's fantastic. And I wanted us to potentially go for him in the summer. But I think he only went for 25, 30 million. And if that was other teams, you could potentially see him going for a lot more. So again, value for money for Geradoue, and the willing to let players go is there because they've got that Blueco pipeline. If they need someone, they'll just loan them from Chelsea, or they've got players coming from Africa, from France, who very much have that African background, or from South America. They've been brilliant at doing it. So they'll be happy knowing that they get 25 million for Doué, maybe 30. They'll reinvest that really, really well. So again, Omar El Halali, my number one.
Happy days. So going a little bit off piece, Barnsley just hit the post, so we did wish you luck, Barnsley.
I don't know, because if Barnsley win tonight, I think Arne Slot's gone, and if that happens, then I think Xabi Alonso comes into the club.
He's been sacked by
Been sacked by Real Madrid, yeah. So it's probably one of the last things that I really want to happen. We could do with Liverpool just scraping through this one tonight, and Slot keeping his job. Just till Xabi
Alonso gets another job, yeah.
That's it, and then we're all good there, mate. You know what I mean?
This is true.
So now I'm just going to touch on one more thing. Obviously, I know in the news the past 2 days we've been linked with Ben White of Arsenal. My concern with that is, number one, he's not he's been playing right back for Arsenal, but Arsenal's fullbacks are centre backs turned fullbacks. Number one, I don't think he's the right profile. He's a bit of a centre back playing right back. Number two, look, he's only 28, which isn't massively old, but this feels like them signings. Do you remember when we used to always get the cast-offs of Manchester United?
Yeah.
We got to about 25, 26, 27 years old. They weren't doing it. So we get them on loan for the season or half a season, and then we buy them, and it'd always go crap. Darren Gibson, Morgan Schneiderlin, Tom Cleverley. We used to love picking up their cast-offs.
We got Cleverley on the freebie, though, so...
What's that?
We got Cleverley on the freebie.
We got Cleverley on a free, but we paid good money for Schneider. We paid like 25 million for him.
To be fair, exactly.
And that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah. So, obviously, Conor Gallagher now, someone who would be good, but apparently Spurs are putting a bid, so don't think that's a non-starter for us at the moment.
Yeah, and I do like Conor Gallagher, but for the money that's going to be asked for him, unless you're doing it in the summer, the money that's asked for him, we're not going to be able to afford that. And again, all our money really should be going towards buying a world-class, high level right back more than anything. But anyway, just to go back to Ben White, he reminds me of that kind of signing years ago, and I just think we should stay well away. He doesn't even like football. Openly admits he hates football, which, look, the professionals, as long as they do a job. But
a bit shit for a footballer, though, isn't it? To be honest.
Yeah, and I think Evertonians as well. We want someone who loves football, want someone who's passionate. That's why people take to Jack Grealish. You can see how much he loves football. He's very much involved with it. Every time he's interviewed, he knows statistics about Everton and things like that because he likes football. I'm not saying he gets the club. I do think he does to an extent, but what I mean is he just likes. He's got that passion. He's got that taste, that feel, that flavour for football. Ben White doesn't have that. Ben Shite, as Peter Duggan says, is right.
Right, so we spent nearly 50 minutes on the right back position now. We had to do that.
Sorry, mate.
No, not at all, Corey. Absolutely, it's important. We need a right back, and I get it. I'm just saying. So we think we've covered right backs. Let's go on to strikers.
Yeah. So this is a difficult one because we're not going to go and we're not going to buy a really young striker. We're not going to go out and buy a world-class striker who's going to be coming in and being our number one. I don't think. We're going to potentially buy someone who's going to fit in the squad. You're going to want someone who's got Premier League or at least top flight experience. And I also think you want someone who, because this is the thing with Tieno Barry, I still think he's going to come good. I still think he'll get a few goals between now and the end of the season, but he's just massively lacking the that older player to coach him and say, look, this is how you do it in the Premier League, because he's got some strength to him. We've seen it where he's thrown his weight about, and he's gone too strong, but we've seen it where he's gone too weak, and he needs someone who's going to come in and say, listen, son, this is how you do it in the Premier League. This is how hard you can go in. This is how much of a shoulder, this is how much strength you can put in. This is how much you can pull on someone's shirt to get past them, and to coach him in the box. So
the Shite winning 1-0, by the way.
Who are?
The Shite.
There we go.
Yeah.
As long as Xabi Alonso doesn't join them. So I think that's what Moyes is going to go for. Now, as you can see from the three of us, the 4 players out of 5 there that I've put down, these are players that we've either been linked with or would probably fit within that mould. Now, first one, Callum Wilson, West Ham, heavily linked with leaving on a free. Now, injury problems, yes, he's had them. He's been relatively free of injury problems this season, but West Ham are just a toxic club and they're going down. Is Callum Wilson's mindset of wanting to jump ship after 5 months, 6 months a worrying thing? Is he someone that can come in and improve us? I personally would never go in to buy Callum Wilson and pay money for him, but if he's there on a free and you're going to have him for 18 months, I've got no issue with that. He's not got the legs that he used to.
As long as he stays fit. And that's
as long as he stays fit. Again, he stayed fit for half a season. So I do think that he's someone that I potentially, you look at it, we've not got much money. It's someone who come in as a free 18-month deal, 33 years old. Basically, what if everything would have gone perfect? What Calvert-Lewin is the risk that Leeds took with Calvert-Lewin, and he's working out quite well for them. That's what I'd hope from Callum Wilson, but also him being able to coach Tierney Barry as a striker in the in the Premier League. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say you missed off DCL on your striking list. I mean, joking.
No, yeah, definitely. I still think, look, let bygones be bygones. A lot of people are saying we shouldn't have let him go, but I think if he would have stayed with us, I don't think he'd have got the goals that he had. He needed that fresh start, and for the money,
he did. And I just think his heart wasn't in it towards the end of Everton.
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of water's gone on. I mean, I've always, and I joke with my mates, but at the end of the day, if Leeds can keep him fit, then he's a good striker. But it's that question of trying to keep him fit. Like we'll play like with Callum Wilson in a way.
No, and that's the thing. And I think sometimes you need to, like I said, you need to go away. You need that fresh start. Obviously, Callum Wilson, it's not kind of worked out like that for him at West Ham, but West Ham this season have been an absolute shambles. He's been fit, relatively. So it's, and as Jess always said, if he's on pay as you play, could we do something similar? Again, that's a possibility. For 18 months, I've not got an issue. We talk about needing to get players in for now, but we also are quite light. So if you've got someone in for 18 months, and again, we get him in for 18 months, that's when we can do that kind of Brighton Brentford thing or Bournemouth thing where you buy someone who's maybe not ready to play now, you buy them dead cheap, and in 18 months, they're going to take over Callum Wilson's spot as the second or third striker, and they build their way into the team. So, moving on from Callum Wilson, Alexander Mitrovic, Serbian, plays in the I don't know if it's the Saudi League or the Saudi Pro League, because I know he went from El Hilali, which is the photo that he's in there, to another team in Saudi, and I don't know what league he's playing at. I know he wasn't happy where he was. Now, whether that's because he wasn't the main man, because they had other players there, or not, I'm not too sure. This is a difficult one. He's linked for about 12 million, 31 years old. Now, in his twilight years, 12 million is a lot to pay for someone at that age.
How long has he been in the Pro Leagues?
About 3 years, I think. No,
3 years. No, that's fine, because I think there's a rule, like in Saudi, I think you got to play for 2 years to get all your money tax free. So that's the issue when you with these players as well. When you look at the Saudi Pro League,
it is and that's one of the issues. Like you said, is look, you've got to pay a lot of money for someone at 31 years old. He's going to be on big money, but he's also going to be on big tax-free money, which means that he's
paid more than that.
Almost double it. As Daniel Barton said there, about 250 grand a week, and that's tax-free. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a case of you saying to him, you're not happy, you've not been happy where you are. Do you want to come back and earn less money when you're getting to play competitive football?
You know what though? I'm all good. Corey having so much time because this is absolutely brilliant. This has all been Corey's hard work, by the way. I've had no input whatsoever. Just making that very clear.
Is that you distancing yourself from how shit it is?
No, not at all. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. I can't take credit for this great work you've done. So, I say, no, we're halfway through. We are still on the stream, but no, obviously, the work that you've done is so brilliant. Thank you.
No, you're very, very welcome, mate. Peter Duggan there. None of the strikers have the level of composure, which I personally disagree. Alexander Mitrovic has got composure in the box. He's got to a level where he was scoring all the time in the Championship, or struggled in the Premier League, but then brought it to the Premier League and done well. The issue for me is the finances for him, because 31 years old, and his game was never about running anyway. So it's not a case of his legs have gone. He was always going to be someone who plays a different game. Target man, he stays in the middle. He's the one who could really teach Tierney Barry how to be that kind of the physical side of playing in the Premier League. Whether his attitude, his personality fits in is another thing. But if he was cheaper, if Mitrovic was much cheaper, if he was half the price with less wages, I'd have snapped Alexander Mitrovic at no chance. Talking about Saudi as well, there's a couple of players there. I mean, Alexander Lacazette is about 36, I think, 35 or something like that. And he's someone who has the experience that could potentially help Tierney Barry in the league, but he's getting a lot of money to play for the same team, NEOM, who the Corey plays for. So again, I'm just talking in regards to this. We've not got mega money to spend. We're needing someone who's going to be really, really cheap. Who's going to come in and play second or third, probably second string better. We'll go to third if we don't sell him. So moving on, Dusan Vlahovic, Juventus.
Sorry.
It's all right, mate. I'm going to save him to the last.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah, I do, mate. I do.
Yeah.
So Dusan Vlahovic, Juventus. He's got decent numbers at Juve, but he's had his problems. Didn't really fit it. He really struggled when he first went. Struggled for form. He could be patchy. He's had injury problems as well. And he's not wanted to extend with Juve. Juve haven't wanted to extend with him. He's got 6 months left on his contract. He's got to the end of the season. Dusan Vlahovic, you'd have to pay. There's two ways this goes. You could buy him for about 20 million, which is way below his market value this winter, before the contract expires. And you could pay him a wage. What you could also do, if we're just getting him just for the end of the season, you could get him on loan. You're still going to pay a decent amount for him on loan, by the way. You could end up paying like 5, 6, 7 million just to have him on loan for these 6 months. If then that would only happen at the very, very end of the window. Only would happen at the very end of the window if you think they've got nowhere else to go. You got bent over the barrel. You could probably pay.
Is he playing for Juve?
He's still getting games. He's still getting the odd game, but he's out of favour. Juve aren't doing well, and it's a case of, look, if they can get some money for him, because they know he's going to leave for free in the summer, if they can get any money, even if it's like 5, 6 million for the last 6 months of the season, then pardon me, just burp, sorry. But why wouldn't he go for that? And it's certainly possible.
I mean, even we could get him on an obligation to buy at the end of the season, like
exactly, or option to buy, and we go, listen, we've got this with an option to buy. You're only paying so much for this season, and they're getting money at the end of the season for a player who was going to leave on a free. So that is certainly there's certainly a deal to be had there. We just, number one, do we want to go for that? He could end up being our starting striker. He's got the physicality for it. He's another Serb like Mitrovic. And is he someone that we want? Number one. Number two, is it going to be a case of we've got is the recruitment team got the ability to make the ingenuity to make that kind of deal and to make it work? So look, that's a long shot. I think most of these strikers are a long shot other than Callum Wilson, because it's just such a tough market. The fact of how much money we've got to spend on a striker and their role within the team as well. So I do think striker is probably one of the hardest positions that we'd have to talk about. Moving on, Jürgen Strand-Larsen. I'm going to make it quick on this one. I've only included him really because we've been linked with him a little bit. But 25 years old at Wolves, he actually down tools. He was expecting to leave in the summer and didn't. I don't think he's got the right attitude. His goal scoring statistics in general aren't fantastic. Why we'd get a striker in who's not great at scoring goals? I don't know. He's proved it at this level.
We've got them.
Exactly, yeah. And for 35 million, number one, we're not going to afford him in January. And number two, I'd be really, really upset if we went and bought him in the summer. I don't think he's up to scratch. Now, look, he might go somewhere else, probably go abroad and start absolutely smashing it. Look, that happens with players. But he is someone that I would steer massively clear of. He just does not fit anything that we want or anything that we need at all. Daniel Barton doesn't rate him at all, and I completely agree.
And let's move on to
Charlton.
I love him back.
El Pombo, the pigeon. So now Spurs, he is their top goal scorer this season.
Yeah,
so
this is funny though. The Spurs fans don't seem to rate him. They all fucking hate him. I don't get it. I don't get that. Why? What is it about him?
I mean, to be fair, if we take it back to their main striker before this, it was Harry Kane. He was like a 30 goal a season striker who was getting assists. They paid big money for Richarlison.
What about Son?
What's that?
What about Son?
Well, Son was more of a winger, weren't he? And even then, once Kane left last season, Son was also on his way down. So he was on his way out the club, and he was just massively deteriorating as well. So Richarlison come in, They bought Matthias. They got Matthias Tell on loan in the summer, expecting him to maybe break through into the squad and probably oust Richarlison. Didn't have he had scored a couple of goals last season, but wasn't exceptional in terms of his output. This season he's been their top goal scorer, but it's still a fairly low bar. Richarlison is still a 10-goal a season striker in the right team, and not only is he a striker, he's different to what we've got in terms of Thierry Barry. He could easily play with them. He could play on the wing. The issue is his fitness. Now, this season, he's had a couple of niggling little injuries, but his fitness has been a lot better than it was last season when he really, really struggled. And that was, I said myself, I love Richie. My heart is I'd always take him back just because of him, but my head would say don't. Now, coming into January, I would have him back. His fitness has been fine.
I'm just trying to find a comment I've just seen, and where is it? I don't know where it is. It quite literally just seen it and then just like clicked on it and then didn't see. And it's like something like Richarlison is, he's a proven goal scorer. You will get goals with him, and most of all, he's an Evertonian. He is an Evertonian, and that's what I love about him. He gets us as a club. He's used to the Premier League, and you're guaranteed to get goals from him. That to me is just what we need. And again, I do apologise. I'm not taking credit. Whoever commented was, I did see it. I just don't know where it is. I don't know if I deleted it by accident or something.
That's so you can take credit of it.
No, I'm not doing that because it's not fair, is it? I'm really not taking that credit, but a spot on comment. So again, if I can see it, I will find it and whack it up there. But yeah, absolutely. There we go. Got it. Daniel, sorry mate, didn't need to steal your comment there. That's it. Guarantee goals with Richie and loves Everton. What more can you want? He gets the club. He knows what we're about. He loves the fans. The fans love him. I just think it's oh yeah. I'm in love with this guy.
I've got the love art in.
Man crush on him.
Now I've got the love art in your eyes. I'm going to bring you right down to earth now, mate. Peter McAndrew beat me to it. On the weekend, he got an injury. He got a hamstring injury. Now, there's a couple of things that would stop us getting Richarlison. Number one is Spurs even wanting to let him go. Number two would be the deal. We'd only get him on a loan to buy deal. They wouldn't let him go just on loan. And number three is the injury. Like I said, he got injured. Now, it was a hamstring injury. We still don't know if it's a grade 1 or grade 2. That's what Thomas Frank said. They're waiting for scans to find out how bad it is. Now, if it's only a grade 1 tear, he can be fit come February. Now, between now and then, you're looking at Aston Villa on the weekend, Leeds and Brighton at the end of the month, and then you've got a 2-week break for the international break. We've got no FA Cup games.
Yeah.
Sorry to remind you all about that. So, if it's a grade 1,
cheers, Barry. You just lost us all the viewers.
Sorry, guys, but like I said, if it's only a grade 1 tear, then it's something that we could still take the risk on. You can have grade 1 tear. If it's a grade 1 hamstring injury, which is usually just a strain, then it's something that you could do without him for 1 or 2 games, and he comes in and he changes it because you've still got 15 games to play and absolutely smash it. But this is the thing. So he still doesn't fit in with the team as well, and they're still constantly looking for a replacement for Richarlison. So if the right player come in and Spurs were able to get the right player, especially with him being injured, then they potentially would let him go on loan, especially if there's an obligation to buy in the summer. They would happily do that. You'd probably be paying about 25 million for him, which is a lot. You could potentially barter it down to 20. But otherwise, I see Spurs knowing that Richarlison would probably leave him on a free at the end of his contract, which is, I think he's got 2 years left.
Thanks, guys, for pissing on my bonfire, but bringing me back down to earth. But yeah, to be fair, no, I get it, and I think it's more the way that he left. It wasn't Richarlison's fault. I think it was the board's fault. I'm not gonna, and I just think he would have stayed if he could have. You know what I mean? And yeah, it was just that sort of player that he's kind of like the one that's got away.
And you're right, mate. He would lift when we're struggling and but he'd be the player who really gets Hill Dickinson going. Because he's the last of like the old breed or the old guard or whatever, if you want to call it that. And he would constantly get the crowd going and the fans would respond to him and it'd rub off on the players and the players would work into that. It's one of the things I think we've missed with. I knew Coleman wasn't going to be making many appearances this season, but when he's on the pitch and he gets everyone, he sets that standard. And there's players that can do that. And Tarkowski's he's a decent leader, but he doesn't do it in the same way Seamus Coleman does. He doesn't make play. He doesn't demand more from players. So that's what I think we get from Richarlison. Slightly different in the way that Coleman does it, but he would still have a similar effect. And after the week we've just had, then and that's it. Then upon at times, I think there's times where he'd filter in and out of that starting 11. But you're right. If they were all fit and firing, he potentially wouldn't. Now they've got a couple of long-term injuries. Obviously, Maddison out for the season, but if they get a striker or forward, which apparently they're after in the summer, that would then potentially make Richarlison available to purchase or loan to buy at the end of the transfer window. But anything to do with a striker is probably going to be towards the very end of the window if we get one. It'll probably be a loan. It'll probably be a cheap player. Strand Larson was just to say that I really don't want him, and it would be something similar to that. Ivan Toney, I didn't put him in because I thought he's just not the kind of player that I want to be going for. Now,
where's he playing now?
Ivan Toney, he's in Saudi.
So, okay, fair enough.
In Saudi, yeah. Now, next one we're going to go to is wingers. There's someone in the comments before, I can't remember who it was talking about. I'm trying to remember his name now. Please bear with me. Please for Saint Etienne, the Georgian fella. The Davitashvili, I think is, isn't it? My dear, see if I can find it in the comments. The only reason I say this is, in the nicest way possible, I really, really struggle to remember the Georgian players' names. I remember Kravachkelia, and that's about it.
We've got a hell of a lot of comments there, but I'll try and find it if you want to continue.
Thank you very much. So, moving on to wingers. Now, Mabbsy, the one who plays for Saint Etienne, it was mentioned in the comments, we've been linked with him. Now, my thing with him, I'm just going to... there we go. Wormy Spoons, nice one, lad. Zeriko, Davitashvili, yeah. So, my concern with him is his physicality. He's not rapid at all. Now, this season, he's got decent output. I know he's got quite a few goals. He's not exactly leading the chart, but he's got quite a few goals already this season. And we are missing goals. But one thing we don't have, and this is especially on the left-hand side, because Jack Grealish plays on that left-hand side, is pace. We don't have physicality, we don't have pace. And he is not that kind of player. He's decent on the ball, very much good at going in the box. He's more of like similar to Richie in that he's a winger that would play as a second striker. He's just, for me, Wormy, mate, I just don't think he fits the mould of what we need. We're crying out for pace on the wing, absolutely crying out for pace on the wing. And this is what I've got here. Now, we've got 4 players, 2 cheaper, earlier in the identification lines, and another 2 who... these are going to be summer transfers if we get them, and we are going to have a fight on our hands to get these players. So I'll start.
Is the wings a problem though?
I think. Well, for me, this is where Asnu's kind of put a stick in my wheels. Is that he come on in that left midfield role, which again we've been saying is you'd want him to play left back when we're struggling for the game and we just need to roll the dice. He should have been coming on for Mikolenko loads of times. We've been saying this, even if he's not ready physically. Well, you're only on for 20 minutes and it's all about pace and getting behind. He should have been doing that. But playing as a winger on the left-hand side, the lad's got pace. So maybe we don't. Maybe we don't need this winger. And that's where it's a little bit different now. But I do still think we need a winger. If we were to get one in this window, it'd probably be one of the 2 or similar of the lads on the left. Younger, less identified, or in the summer, this is where you go for your. And I will be recycling this for the summer window as well. So please don't judge me.
Yeah, absolutely. The work you put in is
So Daniel Barton said there, Franklin Ojou had a brilliant season. Now he's got nearly he's got like 16 goals in 17 games and 3 assists. The lad is doing unreal. The lad's got pace. He is lethal. He's full of confidence. He will take players on. He'd probably turn back and take them on again. Yeah, Whammy Spoons, you're right.
Did you just copy him?
Yeah, I actually do think. He's honestly, Franklin Oju is fantastic. He's gonna. It says 27 million there because that's what he's linked with. But there could be a bidding war in the summer, and he could go to like 35, 40 million. But he would be worth it. 100%, he would be worth it. The question is always, can you make the jump up from Danish league? He's on FC Midtjylland to the Premier League, but that lad has all the ability. He has the ability to go very, very far to go to the top. Bazumana Toure for the Ivory Coast, having a decent AFCON at the moment. Well, he was until he got knocked out by Egypt a couple of days ago. He again is absolutely rapid. He was decent last season, but he's really, really come on leaps and bounds this season. 2 goals, 4 assists, but he is rapid. He will go outside the man, plays on the left-hand side, and he will cut in as well. He's got that, when you see a player run up to someone and they've got that really, really, really quick turn of pace, and he can put footballers on their backs, defenders on their backside. That is the kind of player that he is. He's another one who's going to be going for a lot of money. He's proved it in the Bundesliga. He'll be able to take that into the Premier League, I have no doubt. But he will be exceptional, and he will probably go for 35, 40 million in the summer as well. Whammy Spoons, put here, wanted Franklin during the summer. We were pissed about monitoring FC, and now he's overpriced. Yeah, I completely agree.
Absolutely.
He is someone that, look, we've had an interest in him for a long period of time, so it is something that if we're willing to stump up the cash in the summer, I mean, we were willing to pay 40 million for 30 odd million for Tyler Dibblin. So look, you get a player like that. For me, it's a no-brainer. And again, if Jack Grealish goes in the summer, we're going to need someone to play on the left, or we're going to need someone to play on the right while Njai goes on the left-hand side. You need at least 3 starting wingers. Yeah. Now, ideally, you want 4, but we need at least 3 starting wingers so you can rotate them. You're meant to be Grealish, Njai, and Dibblin, but he doesn't really trust Dibblin. So again, we could do with busting some money on another winger in the summer when Grealish leaves. I don't think we'd pay for him. I'd take Grealish for maybe 20 million, but probably no more than that. And again,
it's his wages as well, though, isn't it?
That's it. I mean, if he's willing to take a pay cut and he really enjoys it here, and he knows he's not going to get a game at City, then why wouldn't he? Because what's his other option is going to be? And I don't see him going to Saudi or anything like that. So Neil, I personally don't like us playing 3 at the back. I really, really don't. Tarky, I don't think is built to play 3 at the back. If he's going to be the central of the 3 with O'Brien on the right and Branthwaite on the left of the 3, I get it. But I personally really don't like Everton playing 3 at the back. It's just never worked for us. We'd have to absolutely, if we were going to do that, the summer would have been the chance to do that. We wouldn't have had David Moyes in charge. We'd have gutted the team when there was no one else there, and we'd have probably sold the likes of Branthwaite and tried to build a team there. It's not going to work with us playing 3-5 at the back. I just do not see that happening. But obviously, we've mentioned there Toure, Jew, fantastic players. They're going to be ridiculous again. They're going to be world-class players playing in Champions League finals, semi-finals. That's the level that they're at. We've got that. We've been watching Jew. We've been talking to Midtjylland and his agent for a long time, apparently, as far as we can see from the constant reports of us being linked with him. There's a chance still. Look, we just need to bid more than the other teams. And it sounds, I know it's easier said than done, but look, the option is definitely there. If not, I get what you mean, Roy. He's someone that I really like. He can play through the middle. He can probably play out wide. He can play a little bit more forward. He's got energy. But what I would say for that is, to get Mane from Wolves, we'd have to recycle a lot of players. Depends on the price for him in the summer. If they go down and he's got a release clause or anything like that, and we can, I know it doesn't sound nice to say, but if we can pick at the Wolves carcass when they go down, then look, I'd happily take him. He looks exceptional. But it's a case of we'd have to have a couple of players leave. I don't see Eric Boone
more, won't it?
Dewsbury Hall doesn't leave. Jessica Gay potentially. James Garner would stay, but even so, they're more defensive players as opposed to the box to box. And the money that you spend on Mane, well, we've got Harrison Armstrong there, and he looked like an exceptional player as well. Different kind of player. He's not as energetic. Probably isn't going to burst forward as much as Mane does, not as direct, but he is exceptional on the ball. And Harrison Armstrong probably won't. I don't think he'll leave at the end of the window.
Yeah, looks like the boss is listening. So there is seen obligatory. It has like this content today that basically Corey has done, and we've been so in depth. Please follow and like us. It helps our algorithm, and we can get more content. We don't do this for money. We just do this on our own time. And you know what I mean, we do it for you guys, really. We do it for ourselves. Let's be pretty honest, because we love it. But depressing talking about Everton. Have we wrapped it up on the wingers, or have we still got the
we'll just talk two more. So we've got two more on the left there, mate. So obviously we've got the cheaper option, an option that could work for this window. Players that cost to no more than 15 million each. Now, Nestori Irankunda, I've mentioned him a few times on Twitter. Exceptional football. Play for Bayern Youth Academy. From Australia. We've got a good relationship with the Aussies, with the Socceroos. Now, he's very raw, very, very raw. But he is the kind of player who is he's got a lot of pace, quick turn of pace, absolutely rapid. Will get to the byline and put a ball in. To be honest, while he's got the pace, he's not the kind of pacey player who's going to get by it and put a cross in. He will try and run into the box as much as he can. Great feet. He's the kind of player, once he gets down there, as long as we've got players in the box, we will cause that kind of trouble where all you need then is a striker or an attacking player in the box to put that ball away. For 12 million, he would have already been blooded. He's been blooded in for 6 months at Watford. He is just raw, and he's not going to be the kind of player where you're going to start him because he is inconsistent and he can go missing. But again, if you're bringing him on late on in games when players are tired, it allows you to, if you're winning, you play him, he just plays on the shoulder the whole game. He doesn't come back and defend. It makes the other team have to think twice about attacking, has to think twice about defending. He adds that. It means if we pass the ball around, we could literally play a ball over the top, and he can just massively take advantage of that. Yet again, raw, it's going to be inconsistent. But I really, really like Nestori Irankunda, and I would 100% sign him this January, if not in the summer. Even if we bought another one of the big lads for big money, well, you need another one, and I would 100% have Irankunda on that left-hand side as an option for us. I would bang the drum about this young lad. He's going to be a lot better. He's going to move on to bigger and better things than Watford. No disrespect. I love Elton John. But he will move on to bigger and better things. He'll be playing again Europa League, Champions League football in a couple of years. He's an exceptional lad. Another one, Niklaus Wurmbrand, Austrian, plays for SK Rapid Vienna. Even cheaper, 7 mil. Now, his output this season hasn't been ridiculous, especially for the step up from Austrian football to Premier League. But again, he's someone who you could bring in, and then by the end of, if he comes in now, by the end of the season, and he has a go in the as a pre-season, he could come in as a late substitute option, similar to Irankunda. He's probably like 6-7 months behind him in terms of development. But he's got fantastic pace, good dribbling, likes to cut in, likes to have a go. So he's certainly someone that I would go for as well. These are all wingers, Wormy, mate. All wingers.
Yeah. Right. So I think it's time to wrap it up there. Have you got any more wingers, or is that?
That's it.
Yeah.
I have got left backs, but we can swerve the left backs. The only thing I've said for left backs is we could probably do with just someone on loan if we don't keep Asnu, which would be the likes of your Malacia at United, just on loan, Phil and Mendy at Real Madrid on loan. The other 4 is more of a touching point for. That's just a little preview for the summer. That's who we'd like to be. They're the kind of profile players we should be going for in the summer as well.
Right, so I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Yep.
Who, currently, out of all the signings that we made in the summer, who do you reckon is the best one we've made?
It's Kieran Dewsbury Hall. for me quite easily. He's somewhere. We're talking about the leaders, non-leaders, and the neither leaders. You got them three like the hierarchy, 3 times the leaders in the squad. Peep the negative lead, like the negative,
Sorry,
the
it's
middle.
2-1.
Liverpool or
2-1.
Barnsley?
Sorry, 2-1 to Liverpool, but Liverpool 2-0 up, Barnes just pulled one back.
Is right. So I think it's Keenan Dewsbury. He's come in. The issue is, and I've said this a while ago, he's better when he's played deeper. Play him on the left hand side. If you play him as a midfield 3 without a number 10, or you play him as the left of 2, and then you have a number 10 up front when you're being a little bit more attacking. So he's better when he plays deeper. Much better when he plays deeper. But he's been fantastic for us. And again, he's kind of at that level where he's not exactly a leader, but he doesn't need a leader, and he's willing to step up at that age. And I wasn't expecting him to be as good as he has been.
I kind of agree with you, but I also think we signed a centre back, didn't we? Michael Keano. I think he's a completely different player to what he was last season. And it's great to see, to be honest with you. I think Tarks has got off the boil massively. I don't know what's up with him this season.
If he wasn't the captain, he wouldn't be in the starting 11. I do think Michael Keane's been the best of our centre backs so far, but that's also to the detriment of the side, I think, in some ways, because, and again, anyone who was listening to some of the streams in the past week will probably be sick of me saying this, but there's 2 types of centre backs. You've got the big man who stops it, and the more quick across the ground who covers it. So Branthwaite and O'Brien are both a bit more progressive. Will cover the ball, and Keane and Tarkowski are both big man stopping the ball. And the fact that Keane's done so well and Tarkowski's the skipper, Moyes sticks with that. And I just don't think it works unless you're playing low block and you're defending for your life, just headering crosses away. I don't think it works. And that's been a bit of a detriment, which again, it's not Keane's fault, because again, he's been the best of the 3 centre-backs, but it's been to the detriment because Moyes wouldn't not play Tarkowski as the captain, which meant that it's either O'Brien and Keane, and he's going to choose Keane on form, but it doesn't help with the balance of the team.
Keane's just not dancers, but Keane's just not shite anymore. He isn't great either. Don't be fooled by Keane's slight improvement. I don't know. Right, so I think it's time to wrap up, but here's food for some thought that I sent to the group before. So if Chelsea get through to the Carabao Cup, it is possible Everton won't have any games between the 14th of March and the 11th of April, with no home games between the 4th of March and the 18th of April. Possibly another reason why we won't buy anyone in this window.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to play for, so they kind of plod along. But with that being said, there is something to play for. There's the possibility of Europe, and I'm not saying that we're guaranteed it, but depending on how many positions, how many places for Europe there are this season, depending on how the English teams do. Arsenal look really, really good, and they're grinding games out. They could they could easily go all the way. Man City have won it once, so they've got the experience to do it. Aston Villa in the Europa League, they're probably odds-on favourite to win the Europa League. So it is a case of how many. It might be a case like 2 seasons ago where it went down to, was it end of 2 seasons ago for last season, where there was like 10, 11 places for the Champions League. You know what I mean?
Imagine for your mental health how good that would be.
Well, the thing is,
nearly a month off from Everton. That would be amazing.
Yeah, 100%. European nights. I haven't been to one of them in ages, in a long time. So and again, you get extra money from that. Don't get me wrong; it would stretch the squad, but this is where you start being a bit more. You can be a bit more creative in the players that you get, because you're playing especially with the new European format where you play a lot of other games.
Yeah,
a lot of these players who you probably aren't ready for the Premier League yet, mainly physically, but they play in the European games where the physicality is a little bit different, and you bed them into the ethos of the squad.
Yeah. Right. On that note, I think it's best to end it here. So, you know, we've been going for an hour and a half here. So, um, if you've liked the content, please like and subscribe. It's been absolutely brilliant, Corey. So, another shout out to you. So, thank you for all this work. And it's absolutely been brilliant. I had no input into this. It's all been Corey's like geekiness, and I'm not knocking him. That's not a bad thing. Um, and if you do like this content, please like and subscribe, and you know, up the fucking toffees.
Up the Toffees.